Tonight, Fanshawe's future.
I think we're almost there.
More job cuts on the way as school leaders indicate sustainability could soon be achieved.
We will have a transformed Fanshawe College.
Plus, auto expansion at risk.
The word that they used was to put that on hold, so we'll see what the future is ahead.
Honda holding off on a new Southern Ontario EV factory. And in an officer's own words, the latest testimony at a coroner's inquest from a London police officer who fired the fatal shot.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with more pending job cuts at Fanshawe College. That came from the school's president today during a town hall meeting, along with the message Fanshawe was becoming more stable. With more on this latest update and the timeline, here's Jerry Dewan.
Fanshawe College President Peter Devlin held the latest in a series of town hall meetings outlining the challenges facing the college and steps being taken to address a substantial deficit.
I think we're almost there. We will have a transformed Fanshawe College.
Devlin credited staff for helping shift the college into cost-cutting mode.
Your efforts to reduce expenditures, as well as the additional government support, has meant that our projected deficit of just over $50 million earlier this year has been reduced to $10.9 million.
Fanshawe entered the deficit reduction process with the target of cutting 500 full-time equivalent positions, either through retirements, voluntary exits, or layoffs.
We need one more round here to bring us to the 500. And that is about 60 positions. And we expect to achieve that, or achieve the understanding of that, by August of this year.
Administration received 345 cost-cutting recommendations from staff, including a recommendation to move convocation ceremonies from Canada Life Place back to the main campus. Devlin says they don't have the capacity to do that, but they are streamlining convocation.
We are consolidating them into 1 week a year. They will include the St. Thomas campus.
The revenue shortfall has been linked to lower enrollment, down 42% from 2024. Much of that decline resulting from the federal government's limits on international students who would pay full tuition for their education. Devlin says post-secondary institutions have lobbied for increased international admissions, but he also admits Fanshawe is below capacity for international enrollment because students have turned away from Canada.
There's been a number of IRCC-led policy changes that have caused prospective international students to have a look at other markets and say there's more stability, there's more certainty there than there is in the Canadian market right now.
Staff attending the town hall expressed their support for the college's approach when it comes to dealing with the revenue shortfall.
When I hear from my colleagues province-wide, I can identify that the information shared at Fanshawe College and the transparency around that and the advance notice outstrips what many colleges are experiencing. So I'd acknowledge that and my appreciation for that.
Devlin projects the college will see a $3.7 million surplus by the 28-29 school year. Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
There are multiple media reports indicating the Japanese automaker Honda is suspending plans to build an electric vehicle plant in Ontario indefinitely. American tariffs are cited, which have created pressure on the project amid slowing demand. With more, here's Mike Lecouture.
The Honda plant in Alliston, Ontario was set to add 1,000 new jobs in a $15 billion expansion. According to a report out of Asia, Honda is shelving a plan to build an EV factory in southern Ontario. In a statement to CTV News, the carmaker said the content of the article was not released by Honda, and we have nothing to report at this time. The federal finance minister remains confident the plan isn't dead.
The word that they used was to put that on hold, so we'll see what the future is ahead.
The Conservative leader contends the Prime Minister's auto strategy is to blame for the plan not moving forward.
He claims that we're going to replace 83% of our automotive sales to the U.S. by making electric vehicles that people don't want to buy.
Mark Carney says the problem is the trade war with the U.S.
Obviously, there's challenges with the U.S. tariffs, unjustified tariffs in the auto sector. We continue to work with companies in the sector.
In February, the Japanese ambassador to Canada told CTV News expansion in this country is directly linked to the ability to export to the U.S.
With private companies, that means they have to calculate to increase profit. So Kuzma is a very important part of the calculation.
Some in the auto industry blame the Trump administration for removing EV incentives and mandates in the U.S.
This is really about the Americans hollowing out the EV market and Honda having planned to serve that huge market from here.
Flavio Volpe points out Honda isn't leaving Ontario. The company just isn't expanding. But even that isn't good news for the Canadian auto industry. Mike Lecouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
We're live inside McDonald's, and it might be Wednesday on the calendar, but it's Friday in here. It's McHappy Day. It is packed in here. Everybody's supporting a great cause. All the funds raised today, of course, going to the Ronald McDonald House Charities, helping keep families close to their sick children as they are in the hospital. Now, coming up a little later, we're going to speak to one of those families about their journey at Ronald McDonald House. But for now, let's jump right into the forecast. We are seeing a little bit of clearing, some sunshine. The temperature, though, struggling today. Only 9 degrees right now. The wind's a bit breezy out of the north-northwest, 19 kilometers per hour. Now, as we head into the night, again, a bit of clearing, which is great news. We'll wake up on Thursday to plenty of sunshine, but we do have a few weather makers that will bring in instability, a little bit of rainfall. I'll walk you through the remainder of the forecast a little later in the show, but for now, I'm going to throw it back to you in the newsroom. Carlyle?
Thanks very much, Rita. London police say they're working with the coroner's office after someone died at London's micro-shelter community near the 401. Emergency crews were called to the facility around 1 o'clock this afternoon. Police say they don't consider the circumstances suspicious, and they have not released the person's identity. City officials say supports are being provided by the shelter's operator to assist other residents. A coroner's inquest heard from the police officer who fired the fatal shot into a Sarnia man 5 years ago during an altercation in London. With more on his version of the events, here's Nick Paparella.
A coroner's inquest heard that the police altercation and shooting death of 29-year-old Justin Barassa of Sarnia all happened in a matter of seconds in the early morning hours of October 28, 2021. Constable Joshua Ryan told the jury that they were stopping Barassa as part of a suspected break-and-enter investigation in the Richmond Row area, saying, "I would have yelled, 'Hey, stop. I just want to talk to you for a moment. If you're not involved, you can be on your way.'" The officer said Barassa, a one-time tennis instructor, matched the description of who they were looking for. And when they got him in an alley, he says, "I say I'm going to handcuff you and pat you down." He starts to pull away and is trying to flee. Constable Ryan says he and his partner, Constable Ryan Hendrick, then get into an altercation with him. "We keep getting spun around. We all go down to the ground." He continued, "Mr. Barassa has his right arm around Ryan's neck in a rear naked choke. I tried to rip off Mr. Barassa a number of times." He says the situation then becomes grave, saying, "I can see that Ryan is gasping for air, his eyes glossing over. He's trying to scream, talk. I can see Mr. Barassa had him locked successfully into a rear naked choke." He says there was only one option to remove the threat. "Before he passes out or dies, I removed my firearm, found center mass, and discharged one round." He then says, "We attempted life-saving measures and CPR." A video from the area is then played, and you can hear the altercation and single gunshot. And Constable Ryan then tells the police dispatcher, "Shots fired, need an ambulance, police are okay." Before wrapping up, he told the inquest, "I had made attempts to remove him. If I had hesitated longer, I could have lost a best friend." The inquest has heard that Barassa had nothing to do with the suspected break-in. In the days after the shooting, 3 males would turn themselves into police, telling officers that they were out in the area on the night in question with tools and a ladder, stealing street signs. The inquest is slated to last until May 12th. Nick Paparella, CTV News.
Woodstock police say they've carried out their largest ever cash seizure. According to police, officers executed a search warrant at a commercial property on April 24th. They say more than $1 million in cash was located, along with a loaded handgun. Police say they've now laid several charges against a 28-year-old man, part of a larger project which has seen multiple arrests and drug seizures. A Goderich family say they want answers from Ontario's chief coroner, waiting 9 months for a report on their son's death. With more on the tragic circumstances and the family's grief now compounded by this delay, here's Scott Miller.
Josh Morse had only been bull riding for about 1.5 years, but his family says he absolutely fell in love with it.
We tried to talk him out of bull riding because it's not the safest sport in the world. And he used to say that, you know, Mom, I'll get hurt. It's just a matter of how bad.
Morse's words unfortunately came true last July when at a bull riding event in Woodstock, he was severely injured after getting tossed and ultimately kicked in the head by his bull. The 26-year-old died in hospital on August 5th. That afternoon, his family says the coroner's office called saying they'd have a coroner's report for them in less than a week's time. But that didn't happen.
My husband contacted the coroner's office on 3 separate occasions. 2 occasions got a reply back that it wasn't ready yet. 3rd time, we didn't hear anything from anybody.
After getting nowhere with the coroner's office, their local MPP, the Solicitor General's office, or the Ministry of the Attorney General, their phone rang 2 weeks ago. It was the coroner who called them on the afternoon of Josh's death. Moore says she explained that she had a medical emergency and multiple surgeries since they spoke in August, and apologized for Josh's report not getting completed earlier.
Why did nobody take the time to look and see and go, oh, we don't have anything, and start an investigation into where his coroner's report was?
Nobody took accountability for the fact that, as she said, his file got lost in their system.
Josh's family has the coroner's report now, his death ruled an accident. But the delay forced Mark to return to work to help cover Josh's mortgage payments in lieu of a life insurance claim that couldn't be filed until a coroner's report was completed.
I don't want to see another family in the province go through the longing, the waiting, the wondering, the lack of communication that we went through.
While expressing condolences to the Morse family for Josh's death, the office of the chief coroner had this to say about the report's delay. The preparation of these reports can be complex and may involve multiple steps to ensure accuracy and completeness.
People need to be held accountable at all the levels of management so it doesn't happen to, the next person.
In Goderich, Scott Miller, CTV News.
London firefighters say they had to extricate 2 people from their vehicle after a crash involving a tractor-trailer in the southeast end of the city. According to fire crews, road closures were imposed near Dingman Drive at Highbury. They say the 2 people removed from the vehicle have minor injuries. At this point, there's been no word on what caused the crash. 2 people were killed in a crash yesterday afternoon in Lambton County. According to provincial police, a sedan collided with a commercial pickup truck just before 2 p.m. at Lakeshore Road and Aberarder Line. In addition to the 2 fatalities, OPP say a 3rd person has minor injuries. There was an extensive closure at the intersection while carrying out their investigation. They're also asking any witnesses to contact them. Work is now underway on the next phase of the Wellington Gateway Bus Rapid Transit project. City officials say this is the last stage of major work along the South Corridor. Along with transit construction, underground upgrades to water mains, sewers, and other utilities are taking place. The work requires lane reductions and closed sidewalks as well, which are expected to last through the summer. A city council committee has recommended a pilot project for e-scooters be extended, which could allow them on city streets, bike lanes, and pathways until 2029. With more on the committee's decision, here's Daryl Newcomb.
It's inherently unsafe. I think it borders on the irresponsible to continue with this.
Councillor Paul Van Meerbergen urged his committee colleagues not to extend London's participation in a provincial pilot project that permits e-scooters on streets, bike lanes, and pathways.
People with near misses, they're very quiet. It's almost like a Wild West out there in terms of people not knowing where they're supposed to be riding these things.
A recent municipal survey found Londoners' opinion of e-scooters is split. In London last year, there were 8 collisions reported to police, 193 injuries reported to hospitals, and 34 hospital stays. However, city staff still recommend extending the pilot project till 2029, but with an education campaign, proactive enforcement, and $100 fines for parents of underage riders. Not extending the pilot would immediately ban the devices.
There are always going to be bad actors, unfortunately, with these sorts of things, but I don't want to strip away a way for people to get around the city.
Currently, riders must be at least 16 years old. 16 and 17-year-olds must wear a helmet, and they can only travel under 24 kilometers per hour.
We may have the best impact if we go out at separate times trying to conduct education within the spaces in which these e-scooters are most readily used.
The E in e-scooter stands for electric, but it was another word starting with the letter E that dominated the committee's discussion: equity.
Equity situation as well, creating more opportunities for people to move around our city.
I fully support the staff recommendation, but this is an equity question.
The committee voted 2-1, Van Meerbergen opposed, to recommend extending the pilot project and expand enforcement, including fines for parents.
There's some issues that we are still working to address, but ultimately for me it was an accessibility issue, an equity issue in terms of not removing that as a way for people to get around the city.
Council will make a final decision about either extending the pilot project or banning e-scooters on May 12th. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Thousands of police officers filled the community center in Cobourg today, paying their respects to a fallen colleague. With more on the service and the man they were there to honor, here's Beth McDonnell.
Inside the Cobourg Community Center, mourning Sergeant Brandon Malcolm, people gathered in the hundreds for his police funeral. The room filled with fellow officers, dignitaries, friends, and family.
It just doesn't feel real. And yet, even in this unbearable pain, I know this. He died doing what he believed in. And that is the kind of man he was. Selfless, brave, and full of love.
A member of the OPP's Northumberland Detachment and the Golden Helmets Precision Motorcycling Team, the 33-year-old died last week riding his motorcycle on the 401, killed in a single vehicle crash. Speakers shared memories about his larger-than-life personality, positive energy, and devotion to his job.
It's no surprise that he was active with his local OPP association and that his office at home was lined with accolades for tremendous work he did.
Outside, ahead of the funeral, a procession made its way from the funeral home in Oshawa to the service in Cobourg. And in the rain, OPP, RCMP, and other officers marched as people from the community lined the street to pay their respects. The impact of Malcolm's loss is being felt far beyond this community. Police officers traveled from across Ontario and as far as Manitoba and Quebec to honor his life and service. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
We're live inside McDonald's for McHappy Day. I'm joined by a very special guest here, Max and his mom, Megan, and also Rachel with Ronald McDonald House Charities. Now, Megan, Ronald McDonald House Charities was home away from home for your family. Tell us a little bit about your experience.
Sure. So last summer we were away on vacation at our family cottage when I went into labor just shy of 3 months early with this little guy. So we were transported to the hospital in Toronto, which was the closest one that could help us. And we stayed at the Ronald McDonald House there for a couple of weeks until we could be transported home to London. Once we got to London, we continued to be blessed by Ronald McDonald House with a family room that they have in the hospital. So they provided, free lunch, coffee, tea, beds we could sleep in if we needed a nap, a shower when we're at the hospital for a long time. So their support for us spanned across cities, regions, and especially was here close to home as well. So we're forever grateful to Ronald McDonald House.
Absolutely. Some incredible work. I've been inside that home myself on Baseline Road. And Rachel, it is curated for every single family that goes through there, which makes today even more important. Where do some of the funds go from McHappy?
Well, that's a great question. So we're so thankful to our founding and forever partner, McDonald's. They're really one of the biggest reasons how we're able to open our big red doors to families like Megan's, as well to families across our regions. So when you come to McDonald's today and celebrate McHappy Day, the proceeds will really be going to keeping our lights on, families fed, and to providing all the programs that help families stay close to one another and heal together, mind, body, and wellness. So it really bridges the gap between what government-funded healthcare provide and what families need for babies like Max.
We love that. All the funds stay local here in our community. Thank you both so much. We're going to throw it back to you, Carlyle, in the newsroom, and coming up a little later, I'm going to tell you about Mother's Day forecast that's looking a little wet.
All right, Rita, thanks very much. When we come back, a decade of hockey helping the local players in their annual game of giving back. Welcome back. It's the Tee Up with Brent Lael. And Brent, local baseball season is back with thousands of kids heading to Labatt Park this week to watch the majors.
Yeah, nearly 2,000 were at the park yesterday, and they're expecting close to 3,000 tomorrow morning as they play a couple of exhibition games to get ready for the season. The majors with an RBI single making the kids happy at Labatt Park. They would lose 7-5 to Chatham in the first of 2 school day exhibition games in preparation for next week's season opener. Close to 5,000 students over 2 days involved in the second year of a partnership with the majors and local school boards.
First and foremost about the kids, one, they come here to watch a game, plus we give them a ticket to come to a regular season game. So we want another set of fans, to come out and catch baseball. So if they have a good experience here, they get a free ticket, come back to another game, and Scott and Angela have done a good job putting this together. So we're excited to have these kids here. And for the players, a great experience. Their first time, they'll see a lot of fans. Some of these guys have played pro ball even and haven't played in front of that many fans. So it's a cool experience for everyone.
The Ontario Hockey League final is getting underway, featuring Barrie Colts and Kitchener Rangers and a handful of former Knights.
Yeah, it's weird to see the Knights out of it right now, but they do have some representation. The Kitchener Rangers roster has Sam O'Reilly and Jared Woolley, of course, former London players. And the Colts have Ben Wilmot, who London traded to Barrie earlier this year. The winner goes to Kelowna for the Memorial Cup. And speaking of Sam O'Reilly, he's been named the Red Tilson winner as the OHL MVP. He helped London to the past 2 OHL titles and is looking for 3 in a row now with the Rangers. He had 71 points in 56 games, which including moving to Kitchener at the deadline in a blockbuster deal which brought 10 draft picks to London. And sticking on the ice, the St. Mary's Lincolns gave it all they had in the Sutherland Cup, but lost the series 4-1 to the Cambridge Winterhawks, who are coached by former NHLer Todd Bertuzzi. High school soccer, the Mother Teresa Spartans are on a quest to win an OFSA title. The undefeated squad finished runners-up at the provincial tournament a year ago, and they're rolling through the league right now. They wrap up their regular season tomorrow with playoffs ahead next week.
We have pretty much the exact same team. So guys know the system, guys know what we want to do, they know what we're looking for, they know the work that has to be put in, the type amount of buying in that needs to be done. And it's just, we're close, we all know each other, we're a good group, we get along, and that's what you need for success.
It's not necessarily about skill, but we're a family. Like, we're all connected and we have a really good bond and chemistry, so that takes you far. Grade 9 we won it, but obviously we won a second medal, so it's going to be a long season, but I think we have what it takes.
On the girls' side, the Lord Dorchester Beavers are the defending WASA champions, and they're looking to get back to OFSA again. There's Megan McLaughlin scoring earlier this week. They've lost some starters from a year ago, but added some more talent. They're undefeated in the Southeast Division, and they wrap up their regular season tomorrow against Ingersoll.
Plenty of construction right now at Western University, Brent, which includes renovations at Alumni Hall.
Yeah, the future home of the basketball and volleyball teams is up in the air, with renovations happening to modernize Alumni Hall. This week, the Mustangs Recreation Department tested out laying down a floor at Thompson Arena to determine whether they could play those sports inside the hockey and track venue. It was to determine whether the floor could take the condensation below, similar to what they do at Canada Life Place. No decisions have been made yet.
And finally, Brent, a local hockey tournament raised close to $200,000 for charities helping Londoners experiencing homelessness.
Yeah, this is a great tournament. For a decade, Hockey Helps the Homeless has been giving beer leaguers a chance to feel like a pro for a day. They do it while raising key funds for those in need. Scoring goals to help those in need.
Homelessness is getting bad here in London, all over Canada, and we just want to help the cause, right? And it's nothing better than playing hockey, hanging out with the pros, and raising some money.
The DeMello family was the presenting sponsor, raising over $30,000 for London Cares, the Canadian Mental Health Association, and Indwell. Event organizers set a fundraising goal of $175,000. However, prior to puck drop, they had already blown past that number.
We are going to be able to build 100 new units, not yet announced, will be announced later this month here in London. And that's on top of the nearly 400 that we already have open or under construction.
The idea of this event is to give everyday players a chance to live and feel like a pro.
Every team gets a chance to draft one of those folks to play alongside them for the day, but it's so much more than that. It's the drinks and snacks set up in the dressing room. It's lunch and breakfast catered for them in the morning. This is our 10th annual event in London, and to see some of our teams who have been around since year number 1 continue to push, to raise the bar and push the envelope to say, hey, no, we can do a little bit more.
Keep going! Yeah, the first game is always, who's this guy? You know, this Dion guy. I said, hey, here's one thing, I'm an offensive player, so when the puck gets to me in the slot, he ain't going back to you, it's going in the net.
And just minutes after telling us that, the former Stanley Cup champ scored for his team. The close to $200,000 raised will go a long way to help the local organizations move people into permanent housing.
If we keep doing it every year, let's see where this goes.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
Rejoining Rita Ismail now, live on location for us tonight for McHappy Day and a deeper look at the upcoming weather story. Rita, over to you.
Carlyle, it has been nonstop here throughout the day today. Folks coming out to support Ronald McDonald House charities. And of course, a percentage of the proceeds from all sales today will be going to that incredible cause, as we heard a little earlier tonight. The sun is shining, so come on down, maybe grab some ice cream, although a little chilly for us tonight. We are sitting at about 9 degrees. Our high today, 10. We're struggling in terms of our temperatures. Normal this time of year, 17. A record back in 1949, they actually hit 31 degrees on this day. Record low -4 in 1968. Now, good news, the sun will continue to shine until about 8:31 p.m. tonight. We are ranging in terms of our temperatures between 7 and 12 degrees. The winds out of the northwest about 15 to 20 kilometers per hour. And of course, that means it feels slightly cooler out there, but we do love the sunshine. We were under mostly cloudy to a mix of sun and cloud today. It was all thanks to a low pressure system that pushed through. It is off to the east now, but we are dealing with a bit of an upper level trough. And what that means is instability in the forecast. Much like today, tomorrow, we'll see the sunshine. The clouds will move in as well throughout the day, and there is a slight chance for some passing showers, although on the lower end right now. So as you can see overnight, some light showers throughout Midwestern Ontario, but mainly clear for us. Waking up tomorrow sunny, and then the clouds move back in. Quite unstable in terms of cloud cover, but moisture-wise, the good news is we aren't expecting a lot of rain until Friday evening, and then again Saturday as another system approaches from the south. That one will bump our temperatures and bring in showers Saturday into Sunday. Tomorrow, though, beautiful morning in terms of sunshine, but cold if you are out early in the morning. 4 degrees to kick things off. We're expecting to hit 13 degrees. With that, we'll see a bit more cloud cover in the afternoon. And again, heading into Friday, there is a weak low pressure system that will push through. So we are expecting some passing showers for Friday. And then there's that warm up for Saturday. I wish it wasn't so short of a warm up, only Saturday 18, and then we tumble back down to 13 degrees for Mother's Day. As of right now, the forecast models are showing a bit of rainfall for Sunday, but we can always celebrate Mom indoors. Monday through to Wednesday, we are expecting beautiful sunny stretch with temperatures still below seasonal. Midwestern Ontario, same thing goes for you in terms of your temperatures. We are below where we're supposed to be, but dry for most part on Thursday. And then Friday we have a chance of rain Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Unfortunately, although not that much in terms of moisture, and then sunshine returns Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and the temperature not where it's supposed to be, Carlyle, but you know what? We're going to take it because next week the sun will return and we'll have a bit more stability. I'm going to take a bite of my cheeseburger and then we'll actually, oh no, I told you not to come in the shot. I don't understand. There goes my cheeseburger. You heard it here. Breaking news. The Hamburglar took my burger. We're going to throw it back to you, Carlyle.
I think you could have seen that one coming, Rita. Thanks so much. Still ahead, gas price pressure and desperate measures. The increasing cases of fuel theft across Canada.
We're so excited. Tomorrow night, we're going to be heading to Beer Kitchen for our first ever Look-alike competition. We're going to find who is the best Luke Combs in the city.
We still have free tickets that you can come join us over on the website, purecountry93.ca.
London is among hundreds of cities adopting a declaration to attract new water-centered industries while expanding maritime commerce on the Great Lakes and St. Lawrence Seaway.
What we're here talking about is a number of things, including trade and the importance of trade within the Great Lakes region. These are large players, big cities, you know, some of the largest in both the U.S. and Canada, and we're all on the same page here. We're talking about resolutions on supporting the renegotiation of CUSMA, and not only renewing that agreement, but strengthening it and strengthening the economic partnerships between Canada and the U.S.
Mayor Josh Morgan says the partnership will benefit London's employment rates, specifically in the manufacturing and construction sectors. He says London should be involved, even though we're inland, because we rely on 2 Great Lakes for drinking water.
Having a seat at the table here means we're sitting with the largest cities in the U.S., largest cities in Canada. We're all speaking with one voice, and we're talking about how to improve the economy for people, on the streets of London, Ontario, and on the streets of all of our cities.
Gas prices rose higher overnight across Canada. Most Ontario gas stations saw an increase of 7 cents a litre last night, sitting around $1.96 today. Diesel rose about 5 cents a litre. Industry analysts say prices could drop before the end of the week, though, amid rumors of a framework peace deal between the U.S. and Iran, as much as 13 cents lower by Friday. Oil prices sank as stock markets rallied worldwide amid those rumors of a potential deal allowing tankers to deliver oil from the Persian Gulf again. In Toronto, the TSX climbed 415 points. In New York, the Dow added 612, the Nasdaq up 513. The Canadian dollar fell 0.05 of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold gained about $135 an ounce. Oil dropped more than $7 a barrel. With higher oil prices, there have been more reports of gas theft, particularly in rural parts of the country. With more on that, here's Alex Karpa.
Some are turning to unconventional methods to get their hands on fuel, a desperation move with gas prices soaring.
They'll do it right here.
X marks the spot where people drill into fuel tanks with the intention of stealing gas directly from vehicles.
So they'll take a hole saw, they'll drill it in, and they'll stick a pipe in with a transfer pump, and it's done in minutes.
Mechanics have noticed a recent uptick in vehicles coming into their shop with gas tank damage, repairing a couple of cars a month.
It's pretty simple, but it's costly. I mean, we have to take the tank out, which on a lot of vehicles is 2 to 3 hours of labor. And then we have to bring it to a special place where they weld them. and then we put them back in.
And the theft is leaving individuals and businesses out hundreds of dollars.
So this is one of the trucks that was damaged.
Juliana Bartel says 2 of the trucks at her business were recently targeted.
We came to work in the morning and tried to fire up a truck, and it was making some weird sounds, so the guys went underneath the vehicle because we assumed our gas tank was drilled, and that's exactly what had happened.
Siphoning gas is the more traditional way to steal gas from a vehicle, but drilling a hole into the pump directly is a faster method.
It's just such a huge inconvenience.
RCMP say this type of theft is relatively common, especially in rural communities. Their advice, keep your car in a well-lit area and have cameras installed on your property. Similar incidents are also being reported elsewhere. Earlier this year, a suspect in BC's interior drilled into a gas tank and stole fuel from a pickup truck. Thefts like this are also being reported south of the border.
It happens fast, and they're in and out.
As gas prices continue to rise, Jansen says he believes this theft could become a bigger issue. Alex Carper, CTV News in Bloom North, Manitoba.
Coming up, home is where the rent is cheap. Why more Canadians are living with their parents for longer in the midst of a housing crisis. Welcome back. The Middlesex London Health Unit is launching new clinics across the county. Officials say 2 nurse-led clinics will be introduced in Dorchester and Lucan. Meanwhile, immunization and sexual health clinics will start running in Strathroy. Today's announcement follows the closure of the health unit's Strathroy office last year. More information on the clinics can be found on the health unit's website. Canadian health advocates are stepping up their calls for better protection against brain injuries, especially for young players. With more on the changes they want to see, here's Pauline Chan.
Kaya Gibson has been playing soccer since she was 4, and while she's a skilled player, she's had several concussions, the worst when she was in grade 5.
I was out of school for like a month and then out of soccer for, I think, over 5 months. It was a long time, so I had difficulty just like integrating back into school, and obviously I was off of screens for a long time, and I think it was mostly hard just from a social aspect.
What's really important for the public to understand is it's not just concussions. The primary risk factor on all this is the repetitive, non-concussive, cumulative impacts that somebody gets over the course of their career.
Former CFL player Tim Fleischer says if he knew as a youth what he knows now, he would have conducted his career differently and reduced the number of total brain impacts he had when he was a kid.
92% of Canadians support stronger rules to prevent brain injuries is an overwhelming statistic.
He's calling on Canada's top sports organizations to bring in strict standards to protect children's brains. Things like no heading the ball in soccer under age 13. Coach Tom Milligan says Oakville Futsal has banned heading for all its players under 18 for the past decade.
So yeah, you'll have the regular soccer or futsal type injuries, ankle, an ankle roll or a knee, might get their knees bumped. But outside that, there's been no head injuries that have occurred here.
Canada is behind countries like the UK in banning youth heading, and Oxford neuroscientist Holly Bridge says for young players, heading the ball is not a big part of the game.
The skill involved in actually getting your head to hit a football, those sort of anticipation skills that the brain needs to learn, actually they're quite difficult.
She says taking it out of the game also reduces the risk of head-to-head collisions that are also a big cause of brain trauma for players. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
New Stats Canada data shows more people in their 30s and 40s are living with their parents compared to their older siblings and their parents at the same age. With more on the numbers and what they mean for housing affordability, here's Abigail Beeman.
Even with a good job in the trades, Eric Rodriguez says he's struggling to afford getting back in the housing market.
There used to be a time and an age in this country where working hard and making a good wage would get you ahead and would get you a house, and you'd be able to go on all these trips on the weekends with the kids. But now it just seems that we're working harder than ever, and we're just basically keeping our head above water.
He's not surprised to hear about a new report from Statistics Canada that showed twice as many millennials live with their parents than baby boomers did when they were in the same 25 to 39 age bracket.
a broad change across the generations, and it's not explicitly down to just one factor.
Affordability is often top of mind when it comes to millennial home ownership. Statistics Canada says other factors include a cultural shift with a more diverse, younger population more likely to live with parents, and the concept of life stretching, where Canadians are spending longer on each stage of life.
They're having to go to post-secondary more. They pay more for the privilege to then land jobs that actually pay less than baby boomers earned after adjusting for inflation, to then face way higher housing prices.
How have we managed to screw things up so badly that despite all the correct ingredients in Canada, we have managed to make housing less achievable for younger people?
That expert pointing to improved building technology and lots of land per capita as reasons Canadians should be able to afford homes.
The paper was done using 2021 data as the latest data, and since then, the affordability picture has worsened.
Statistics Canada tells us they hope to provide more concrete information on affordability challenges in the housing market with future research. Meanwhile, the latest data is currently being collected with the 2026 census. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
The National Public Alert System will be tested tomorrow. A test message and tone from Alert Ready will broadcast on TV, radio, and compatible wireless devices. The system is tested twice a year in May and November, ensuring it works across the country. As of April 30th, the Alert Ready system had issued 28 alerts in Canada this year for emergencies like amber alerts and tornado warnings.
Tonight's weather snapshot sent in from our viewer Ellen Price. A great photo of the cherry blossoms at Springbank Park. Now the petals are starting to fall, and of course that oftentimes creates a pink snow effect just before the trees start to turn fully green. Thanks again for sharing, Ellen. Sunshine in store for Thursday morning before another unsettled pattern moves in just in time for the weekend. Our temperatures remain below seasonal, with rain expected late day Saturday into Mother's Day Sunday.
President Donald Trump has issued a new threat to Iran if there's no agreement to end their conflict. Trump posted on social media this morning telling the Iranians they need to accept an agreement and open the Strait of Hormuz before warning otherwise bombing would resume at a much higher level and intensity than before. Meanwhile, Trump announced the U.S. is pausing an operation to guide stranded ships out of the Strait of Hormuz. Trump says it will be a short pause to see if a peace deal with Iran can be finalized. He also says the blockade of Iranian ports will remain in effect. Trump says U.S. forces struck 7 Iranian boats, which he claims tried to attack commercial ships. The two sides are reportedly close to agreeing on a brief memo of understanding to end the war, which could set a framework for more detailed nuclear negotiations. Iran's foreign minister met with his Chinese counterpart in Beijing today. China purchases more oil from Iran than any other country in the world. Spokespeople say the officials spoke about bilateral relations and common issues of concern. Chinese officials are calling for an end to the war in the Middle East and a peace deal reached between the U.S. and Iran. Tickets for Toronto's FIFA Fan Fest are now on sale. General admission tickets for the event are free, but there are also premium passes available for between $100 and $300. The event will include World Cup matches broadcast on large screens, as well as live entertainment and dozens of food vendors drawing from cultures from all over the world. A Kitchener company is taking a new approach to addressing potholes, focusing on prevention instead of quick fixes. With more on the infrared technology they've developed, here's Spencer Turcott.
Cook like a steak and cut like butter, a saying heard frequently around Kitchener's heat design equipment.
We build infrared heaters for patching roads, and that's to maintain roads and to help construct roads so they last longer.
The system uses infrared heat to rework existing asphalt instead of simply covering it up, a process that sets them apart from others.
We can reheat asphalt when it's 10 to 20 years old, and we can recycle that in place so it can allow for better repairs.
That means crews can recycle material already on the road, creating a smoother, more durable surface. It's a process that takes more time than a quick patch, but the company says it's well worth it.
We might take a little bit longer to fix that, but we'll have a much more permanent repair.
The key is catching problems early. Small cracks can quickly grow into potholes. The goal is to repair them before that happens. And with many different tools that use the same technology depending on the size of the job, they've been successful.
This is an infrared heater that gets attached to the side of the paver. So we're all familiar with the cracks that go down the center line of the road. This machine fixes it in the construction phase.
The company's tech is built in Kitchener and is already being used in projects around the world.
We shipped equipment as far as Australia, South America, UK, and into the US as well.
A local innovation that's heating up potholes and cooling down frustration for drivers everywhere. Spencer Turcott, CTV News, Kitchener.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest in the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
Welcome back. Canadian rock icons, the Tragically Hip, are partnering with an Ontario dairy producer, releasing a new ice cream flavor for charity. The flavor is called the Tragically Chip, released by Kawartha Dairy. It's a mix of maple whiskey ice cream with dark chocolate chunks and a cherry ripple. The company was founded in Bobcaygeon, which is also the name of one of the Hip's most popular songs. The ice cream will go on sale next month, and a portion of the sales will support the Breakfast Club of Canada. And finally tonight, a young man from Wisconsin fulfilling a prom date promise to his grandmother.
Since I was like a little kid, my grandma's been telling me she wanted to go to prom. It's her dream.
I come from Iceland, and we don't have prom in Iceland. I've always wanted to go to a prom. You know, watching American TV and, you know, all that glamour.
The student says he made a promise to his grandmother more than a decade ago that he would take her to prom, which he followed through on, enjoying all the traditions that go with it, including photos, dinner, and dancing. That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.